is the 12th and final month of the year in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. It is also the last of 7 months to have a length of 31 days. December got its name from the Latin word decem, meaning 10, because it was originally the 10th month of the year in the calendar of Romulus 750 BC. Later, the months of January and February were created out of the monthless period and added to the beginning of the calendar, but December retained its name. The half-human and half-horse is the centaur of mythology, the learned healer whose higher intelligence forms a bridge between earth and heaven, also known as the archer. Sagittarius is represented by the symbol of a bow and arrow. Sagittarian are optimistic. They tend to inspire the people around them to live their best lives. But they get bored easily and move on, earning them the reputation for being the biggest commitment phobes in the zodiac, or a person who fears or dislikes a specific thing. Commitment can make them feel claustrophobic, but as long as they have plenty of space to be themselves, they can be incredibly loyal, passionate lovers. Capricorns are born between December 22nd and January 20th and belong to the earth elements of the zodiac. The earth sign crew are all practical, self-reliant, stoic, and ambitious. Capricorns are ruled by the planet Saturn, aka the taskmaster. Aside from being ambitious, Capricorn have zero tolerance when it comes to being made fun of. They will hunt someone down if they feel mocked or undermined by them. Driven to do their utmost bestest, never let themselves off the hook. They're determined to show other people what they're made of and craves for success. The birth flower is Narcissus, or common name is daffodil. The flowers are generally white or yellow, also orange or pink in garden varieties, with either uniform or contrasting colors, with its conspicuous flowers with 6 petal-like tepals, or the outer parts of a flower. The species are native to meadows and woods in southern Europe and North Africa, with a center of diversity in the western Mediterranean, particularly in Iberian Peninsula. The daffodil symbolizes rebirth and new beginnings. It became associated with new beginnings and the coming of spring season because it is one of the first perennial to bloom after the winter frost. The American Gem Trade Association chose tanzanite as a December birthstone, the first change to their birthstones list since 1912. The gemstone was given the name tanzanite by Tiffany & Company after Tanzania, the country in which it was discovered. The gemstones was not thought to be sufficiently consumer-friendly by Tiffany's marketing department, who introduced it to the market in 1968. Tanzanite is only found in Tanzania in a very small mining area. Tanzanite is noted for its remarkably strong different colors, appearing alternately blue, violet, and burgundy depending on crystal orientation. The Cold War ended after 52 years of superpower rivalry. Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev and US President Bush ended their shipboard summit meeting off Malta. On On the evening of December 8, 1980, English musician John Lennon, formerly of the Beatles, was fatally shot in the archway of Dakota, his residence in New York City. The perpetrator was Mark David Chapman, an American Beatles fan who had traveled from Hawaii. Chapman stated that he was angered by Lennon's lifestyle and public statement, especially his much publicized remark about the Beatles being more popular than Jesus, and the lyrics of his later songs God and Imagine. Chapman remained at the scene until he was arrested by the police. Lennon was rushed to Roosevelt Hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival after Chapman fired 5 hollow-point bullets from a .38 special revolver, 4 of which hit Lennon in the back. The church leaders agreed to fix the date of birth of Christ. Previously, some people have celebrated it in May, others in January. Christmas, or Feast of the Nativity, is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, observed primarily on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world. Most Christians celebrate on December 25th in the Gregorian calendar, which has been adopted almost universally in the civil calendars used in countries throughout the world. For Christians, believing that God came into the world in the form of man to atone or make amends or reparation for the sins of humanity, rather than knowing Jesus' exact birth date, is considered to be the primary purpose in celebrating Christmas. December 31st is the 365th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. It is known by a collection of names including Saint Sylvester's Day, New Year's Day, or All Year's Day and Night, as the following day is New Year's Day. New Year's Eve is one of the largest global celebrations because it marks the last day of the year before the New Year. Many people celebrate New Year's Eve to bid farewell to the year that ends and to welcome the New Year. The term angel literally means messenger, and it is in the prominent role that angels take part in the Christmas story. The angels proclaimed the news of the Savior's birth and sang "Glory be to God." Bells announce the coming or arrival of an event, activity, or occasion. They are rung during Christmas to announce the arrival of the season, to proclaim the birth of Christ. Christmas tree or evergreen tree stays green all year and reminds us of the everlasting hope and life eternal. It also points up to heaven, reminding us to look to God in all things. The first artificial Christmas tree was made in Germany during 19th century, fashioned out of goose feathers that are dyed green. Gift-giving reminds us of how God gave us the gift of His Son and that Jesus Christ gave us the greatest gift of all, a symbol of love and kindness to each other. The prickly leaves represents the crown of thorns that Jesus wore when He was crucified. The berries are the drops of blood that were shed by Jesus because of the thorns. In pagan times, holly was thought to be a male plant and ivy a female plant. In Scandinavia, it is known as the Christ thorn. Holly plant represent immortality as well as the crown of thorns worn by our Savior. The red holly berries represent the blood shed by Him for us. The wreath has significant meaning for the season. Its circular shape represents eternity, for it has no beginning and no end. From Christian religious perspective, it represents an unending circle of life. The evergreen most frequently used in making wreaths symbolizes growth and everlasting life. The name Santa Claus is the English form for the Dutch name for Saint Nicholas, though the modern Santa Claus is associated with a world of fantasy. The historical Saint Nicholas was a godly man known for his charity and generosity. Santa Claus wears red, the first color of Christmas. He brings goodwill and love to all, like our Savior Jesus Christ. Santa Claus was originally the patron saint of children, thieves, and pawnbrokers. Within the Advent wreath are candles that generally represent the 4 weeks of the Advent season, as well as the light of God coming into the world through the birth of Jesus Christ. Candles remind us that Jesus is the light of the world. The candy cane is in the shape of a shepherd's crook used to bring lost lambs back to the fold. God is often thought of as a good shepherd, guiding us back to the fold. The white of the cane represents the purity of Jesus Christ, and the red stripes are for the blood he shed when he died on the cross. The peppermint flavor can represent the hyssop plant that was used for purifying in the Bible. December 26 is the National Candy Cane Day. Gives candy lovers a day to celebrate the white and red stripes candies found abundantly during the holiday. It was first known to be mentioned in connection with Christmas in 1874. As early as 1882, candy canes have been hung on Christmas trees are to represent the shepherd's cane. The Christmas star symbolized the Star of Bethlehem, which according to the biblical story, guided the 3 kings or wise men to the baby Jesus. The star is also the heavenly sign of a prophecy fulfilled long ago and the shining hope for humanity. It also symbolizes that Christ is the light of the world and it is a shining hope to all mankind. December might be the last month of the year, but it is the first month of winter for some countries. Cold weather brings people together. We yearn for warmth, love, and connection. December is where the story of a year stops, when it all comes to a conclusion, when we can see the line drawn between an ending and a new beginning. We are to choose what to hold on to bring along to our new ride for the new year, and what to let go of and leave behind.